Hello, good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of the Late Night Intercourse with Chioma. Of course, your host is Chioma ONYENUCHEYA-UKO, the Zest family lawyer. Thank you for joining me tonight. I trust you had a beautiful day, and I'm excited. Thank you to every one of you who is with me live now. And thank you for having joined the Late Night Intercourse, at least in the past few episodes. Last week we discussed, we had a conversation around issues on how to protect children within conflicts in the home. And thankfully, we had a winner of our data prize last week. And I'm hoping that this week, somebody will also be winning the 5,000 Naira data prize up for grabs. So stay tuned. Don't blink. If you can, maybe you should just get a pen and a jotter, because you never can tell what the winning question will be, so that you're not caught napping when the question is posed. So tonight, we will be discussing legal issues around paternity. What are the legal issues on the subject of paternity in Nigeria? What are those? What is paternity? What are the likely issues that may, affect the subject of paternity? In the event where paternity needs to be proven, what qualifies as proof for paternity? What are also the implications where paternity has been proved successfully? Those are some of the things we'll be considering tonight. And if need be, we may have a continuation of the subject, depending on the engagement and the questions posed. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. So let's dive straight into it. What exactly is paternity? Simply put, paternity is a means of, or a proof by establishing or identifying a person as the father, the biological father of a child. So when we talk about paternity, it simply means, the establishment, the identification, the confirmation of a person, of course a male, a man, as the father of a child. And I know nobody will be wondering why we're having that conversation. As you all know, the Late Night Intercourse with Chioma is all about engaging, having conversations, having enlightening intercourse on subjects within the family law spectrum. And these issues are wide and vary. And one of those issues which I've had to encounter as a family law practitioner is around the subject of paternity. We hear stories of how a man, maybe when they have issues with their wives or their women, begin to contest the paternity of a child that was born in a union. We hear questions about, are you sure this child is mine? Or even where some women, maybe sometimes out of anger, or maybe because they feel they need to confess, blot out, you are not even the father of the baby. And for any of the scenarios, some of which very much more than the examples I've given, where paternity becomes an issue. That is what we want to interrogate tonight. What are those possible legal issues around the subject of paternity? And of course, we've started with even defining paternity. Again, I want to say, paternity simply means the establishment, the confirmation, the identification of a man as the father of a child. That is paternity. Once a man is confirmed as the biological father of a child, then that paternity has been established. Of course, paternity, why we're narrowing it to biological identification or establishment is because one can be a father in many other ways beyond just this. But for the purposes of this conversation, we're talking about paternity as a biological fact. Having defined paternity, what are some of the ways one can be said that there is proof of paternity? And the first will be by acknowledgement. This can happen in any way. Of course, you know that paternity is not necessarily bound within the confines of marriage. While that is the ideal thing, while that may be the right thing or the generally acceptable thing, while that may be what our society demands and what, morals and our religious books, support, the reality is that sometimes paternity may not happen within the confines of marriage. But once a child is born, and we realize that conception would usually, except for situations of scientific support by way of assisted reproduction, but once a child is conceived, ordinarily, that conception would have happened by the coming together of a man and a woman, which means that there is a man who becomes the father and the woman who becomes the mother. And whether it happened within marriage or not, once a child is conceived and born, by the mere acknowledgement of being the father of that child, even if that conception did not happen within the confines of marriage, even where that child was born out of wedlock, if a man acknowledges a child as his own and accepts to say this child is mine, then that is sufficient proof before the law that that child is his. Except where there is a contest, that is where another layer of proof may become necessary. But where there is no contest, particularly where the contest does not arise from persons who can ordinarily have the right to make that contest, then the mere acknowledgement of paternity of a child becomes sufficient proof before the law that that child belongs to the man, that the man is the father of that child. So the first way to prove paternity, like I said, is simply by acknowledgement. So if Mr. A has acknowledged that he is the father to boy C, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Whether you think it does not appear to you that he could have impregnated the woman who gave birth to the child or not, is of no consequence, so long as the parties are in agreement and the man has acknowledged the child as his own. So that's the first proof. Then the second legal way of proving paternity will simply be by the mere fact that that child was born within a marriage. So the mere fact that the birth of the child happened within the pendency of a marriage, within a marriage, the law says there is a presumption of paternity. So in law, you will say that the second proof is by presumption of paternity. So the law presumes that once a man and a woman are married, any child born during dependency of that marriage belongs to both of them. So the man would be rightfully the father of the children, and the woman would rightfully be the mother of those children. Yes, I've heard the saying that maternity is a matter of fact and paternity is a matter of faith. Maybe, maybe not. So in the event that paternity is a matter of faith, once that child is born in the course of a marriage, during the duration of a marriage, while the both parties are married, the man becomes the father of that child, or those children as the case may be. So that becomes a case of presumption of paternity. And unless for some reason the man begins to doubt that he is the father of the child or the children, or where the woman begins to allege that the man is not the father of the children, unless there is a contest as to the paternity of the child, the ordinary presumption of paternity will be resolved in their favor. But where a contest arises, then of course there may become a need for another layer of proof. But ordinarily, the mere fact that a child was born during the pendency of a marriage is sufficient proof of paternity. And where this contest arises, whether in the first instance I gave, which is a situation of, acknowledgement of paternity, or in the case of presumption of paternity, where a conflict as to, a question, a query, a confusion as to the paternity of a child arises in any of these situations, then the other manner of proof will be by scientific means or by documentary means. So that means that, for example, maybe let us take the instance of paternity by acknowledgement. A man impregnates a woman or imagines that he impregnates a woman and the child is born. And then somebody comes from elsewhere to say, no, this child is not yours. I was actually having sexual relations with the mother at the time, and I think that this child is mine. Or the man says, sorry, how come you had this child in October when I know that the last time we had anything together was last year around maybe August? The normal gestation period for having a child is 9 months. It's way past 9 months since the last time I met you. I don't think I'm the father of this child. If there is any reason why there is doubt as to the paternity of a child, the father who contests paternity, or the mother who alleges that the father is not the father of the child, or even a third party who says, I am the father of this child, or the child himself or herself who wants whatever questions around his or her paternity resolved for identity's sake or for any such reasons, maybe even for reasons of provision, any of those people may raise the question as to proof of paternity. And where that happens, they can actually approach the court and have the court issue an order for scientific proof, which would usually be by submitting to a blood test, a DNA test, any of those means of scientific proof. And of course, where there is a birth certificate, the court would usually also treat that as documentary evidence of paternity. So you know that a birth certificate would usually contain, things like the name of the father, the name of the mother. So if a man has been listed on the birth certificate as the father of a child, except where the man himself now says, I have reasons to doubt that I am the father of this child, ordinarily, the mere statement that he is the father of the child on the birth certificate is sufficient proof. But where there is a contest, like I've said, that third layer of proof, or that third means of proof, being the scientific one, comes in. And where the court orders it, of course, the outcome of that test will be relied upon by the court to determine who indeed is the father of the child. Exceptions though, one of the main exceptions will be where the child in question is no longer a child. If that person has, grown over the age of 18, then nobody can compel him or her to submit himself to a DNA test for the proof of paternity. So if a child, maybe there's a contest as to the paternity of a child, and that child is still a minor, of course, the mother or the father or any of those persons who are caregivers to that child may authorize for a DNA test to be conducted. But where a person has grown above being a minor, where the person has come of age, then you'll be invading the person's privacy to imagine that you can obtain consent from the court or order from the court to go ahead with a DNA test. You cannot do that. That person reserves the exclusive right to decide to yield to a DNA test or not. So what it means is that if a man thinks he had a child with a woman many years ago, and after he's gone sojourning, after he's gone sowing his wild oats, 20, 25, 30 years later, he returns to say, actually, I am the father of your child, or actually, I am your father. And the child says, no, sorry, my mother didn't tell me you are my father. And the man thinks he wants to compel the child or that person to submit to a DNA test. No court will make such order, because that will be a violation of that person's right to privacy. So only that person may choose by him or herself, particularly for identity reasons, to submit to a test. So, and where a woman is married and the child is had within a marriage, an outsider cannot also just come in and say, this child is mine. You cannot compel the woman to a DNA test, a scientific proof. You cannot do that. Except the woman by herself chooses to say, actually, this child belongs to you and not to my husband. And where there is a contest, then it can be subjected to scientific proof. So yes, those are the three proofs of paternity under the law, either by acknowledgement by the father, by the presumption of paternity because of the pendency of a marriage, or by scientific or documentary means. Now, where paternity is successfully proven, where there is a contest around paternity, and for example, a man says, I don't think this child is mine, and I want us to subject this child to a DNA test, of course, testing the child against our DNA to confirm that I am the father of this child. And that happens. And then it eventually turns out that this man is not the birth father, is not the biological father of this child. What are the likely legal implications? The first thing I can think of will be loss of inheritance rights. So where paternity proves that a child does not belong to a person who ordinarily was perceived or presumed to be his father or her father, it means that that child is likely to lose rights to inheritance from that perceived father or previously perceived father. So assuming it even happened within a marriage, it does not matter anymore that the man is married to the woman or is married to the mother of the child. If scientific evidence proves that the man is not the father of that child no longer has automatic right to inheritance from that man. So it means that unless the man feels that maybe for some reasons of bonding with the child, for some reasons of, relationship, affection, love, that they've been able to groom over the period they were together or thought they were father and child, except that man by choice bequeath something to that child will no longer be entitled automatically to, inheritance, because inheritance is one of the rights a child has from his or her parents, whether they are birth parents or adoptive parents. So in a case where paternity has failed, a paternity test has failed, the child can no longer enjoy automatic rights to inheritance from the previously perceived father. Then the second thing will be what I call, freedom from child support obligation. For the well-being, for the care, for the development of that child. He is no longer under that obligation. So it means that that man can say that he's been absolved of that responsibility. Just as I had said about situations of loss of inheritance rights, in that situation, the man can only do whatever he wishes to do for that child out of benevolence, just maybe because he already had some sort of, affection for the child before that happened. And then the other situation will be a situation of identity issues, surname dilemma. Maybe the mother's name or the eventual birth father's name, if that is proven. So one of the implications may be a change of name. It may occasion that the name of the child, the surname of the child is changed. And then the last I would like to discuss tonight, and certainly not the least, will also be the possible loss of access or custody to that child. So if a man wants to enjoy access to a child, if a man wants to enjoy the custody of a child, it may be counterproductive to consider contesting paternity of that child. Because if that contest is successful and it turns out that the man is not the birth father of that child, he may no longer enjoy the rights to access or custody custody of that child. So it means that that right he ordinarily would have enjoyed to either have access to that child freely, unencumbered, unhindered, unfettered, may be lost. And then, of course, also rights of custody of the child. So because custody is a sensitive matter and it's not something that is that everybody is generally entitled to, It's not just any and anybody who can just walk up and say, I want custody of a child. So where paternity test has revealed that a man is not the father of a child, then that man's chances, his rights to demand access or to demand custody would be badly affected. So having run through this brief expose, if I may call it that, I'm looking to see who is following, and I'm looking to see if I have any questions. What's happening? Oh, I'm seeing people say that the audio is off. I'm so sorry. I wasn't here at all. My apologies. I was just talking to you. I wasn't really checking. I wasn't checking online to see. My apologies. My apologies. Can somebody quickly confirm to me that you can hear me loud and clear? I will appreciate that. Please type in the comment section whether you're watching me on Facebook or watching on YouTube. I'm now looking at my phone to see your comments. Can I get confirmation? And I'd like for you to do me another favor. Can you just tell me where you're listening to me from? Are you in Abuja? Are you in Port Harcourt, Enugu, Owerri, Taraba, wherever it is? Can I just get a comment from you on in the comment section, please? Whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, I'm checking to see. Oh, Leo Smart, thank you very much. Okay, you say it went off, but it's back now. Oh, I hope you didn't lose. Oh, thank you so much. Her Excellency, Ndidianike. Thank you, darling. Okay, I see that you can hear me. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the conversation. Thank you very much. And like I said, I'd just like to know where and where you're watching me from. Where and where are you watching me from? Oh, Graceful. Thank you, my darling. Yeah, you confirm you can hear me clearly. Oh, you're smart. You're in Enugu. Oh, nice to hear. Nice to hear. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see who is watching from. Who's watching on YouTube? Let's see who's watching on YouTube. Oh, thank you so much. Bernard, you confirm that you can hear me on YouTube now. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you're watching live. Thank you. Yeah. Leo seems to be the only one who confirms where he's watching me from. The rest of you don't. This is supposed to be an intercourse. Come on, talk to me already. Talk to me already. Talk to me. Criteria for winning tonight's data prize. You don't know what it's going to be. So, if we're having an intercourse, it had better be consensual. It must be between the both of us, mutual. Let's do it already. Talk to me. Talk to me. Where are you watching me from? That's the question. Where are you watching me from? I hope we're not freezing, are we? Where are you watching me from? I am watching, I'm looking to see reactions, your questions. Oh, yeah. Graceful, you're in a worry. I'll be most grateful. Thank you. And for those who may want to call in, instead of just asking a question, would you rather call in instead of typing a question in the comment section? Of course, the number to call is 090 80 000-633. I'll take the number again. 090 80 000-633. This number is only live when I am live on the intercourse. Otherwise, you can only send WhatsApp messages to that line. So if you'd rather call in and ask a question, I'll be glad to take a call. If you also have a question you want to post in the comment section, please be my guest. Please be my guest. Oh, Her Excellency is saying that the broadcast keeps going off and on. Why is that so? Oh my goodness, my goodness. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. What do I do? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. But you can hear me now, I imagine. Can you confirm? You can hear me now? You can hear me now? Okay. Okay, so I think this would be a good time to take our question for tonight and see who wins our prize. I took just two broad issues, as it were, on the paternity subject. The first was on proof of paternity, and I mentioned 3. Then the second was on the implications or the consequences where paternity has been contested, and I gave 4. I don't know who listened and heard all of those. So the question tonight is, fastest finger, can I get someone who will tell me the 3 means of proving paternity? Three means of proving paternity. Fastest finger, fastest finger. And the first answer that comes in becomes our winner of the 5,000 Naira data prize for tonight. I hope you can still hear me. Yeah, I'm looking and checking to see. My goodness, Mr. Anthony Ekbete, the very same person who won our 5,000 Naira data prize last week, is the first responder, and he says, by acknowledgement, presumption of paternity, and scientific proof. Come on, give it up for him already. Congratulations, Mr. Anthony Ekpete. You are again the winner of the 5,000 Naira data prize. Whoa. Oh, thank you so much, Graceful. Oh, Graceful, you got the answer correctly, yes. Oh, you're smart. You also got the answer correctly, yes. You also got the answer correctly. I think Ekpete beat both Graceful and you're smart to it. You're smart was trying to do paragraphs in his response. Don't you worry. You know what we're going to do? Going forward, in subsequent episodes, I'll try to introduce multiple prizes. That way, more people will be able to win. I deeply appreciate that you are all joining me tonight. I love that you join me per time that I come on. This won't be an intercourse without you. And I'm going to make sure that beyond just the knowledge value, that we'll also get some other fun value from it, particularly by way of winning prizes. So I'm going to do multiple prizes in subsequent episodes. But tonight, as already announced, we have just one prize, being the 5,000 Naira data prize. And Mr. Anthony Ekpete has won that. Congratulations, Mr. Anthony. Thank you so much for sending in your response. And to Leo Smart and Graceful, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, Her Excellency said she also typed a response, but the network was, oh, my apologies. My apologies. My apologies. Leo Smart, you're saying you disagree. What are you disagreeing to, please? Let me hear you. Talk to me. You can talk to me here or make a call. Talk to me. Let me hear what you disagree. What are you disagreeing to? So that we rule on it already. I'm all for fairness. What are you disagreeing to? Tell me. Feel free. Oh, okay. Are you suggesting Leo Smart says that he labored with all the network problem here. He's not happy, Biko. Oh my goodness. But you know, Leo Smart, you could have just called instead of typing. Maybe that would have been faster. Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what we're going to do? I think maybe we'll just do, okay, I can afford maybe consolation prizes. Yeah. Okay, and I'll restrict that to Graceful and Leo Smart, being that the both of them sent in their their responses about the same time that Mr. Ekbete sent in his. So for Graceful and Leo Smart, you're getting 2,000 Naira data consolation prizes. Isn't that something? Congratulations to the both of you. So confirm to me that's fair. Leo Smart, is that fair? Is that fair? Confirm to me that that's fair. And please let me confirm that the call line is not restricted to questions. The call line can be for questions. It can also be for comments. You may actually have an opinion. It is possible that you don't quite agree with something I've said, or that in addition to something I've said, you'd like to add something. It can also just be that you want to ask a question. And where I have asked a question, you can also send in your response through the call line if that is your preference. Of course, it can be by typing in the comment section, either on Facebook or on YouTube. And for those of you who do not know the YouTube handle, the YouTube channel, it is Late Night Intercourse with Chioma. But if you're fine to just connect on Facebook, that's beautiful too. We're home with it. So I think this will be a good place to call it a wrap. Except, hey, Her Excellency has confirmed my judgment to be fair. Yes, that's a commendation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And please, if there is anything you'd rather like us to talk about, do you have an experience? Did you hear something? Is there something bothering you on any subject within the family law scope, brackets, spectrum, within the family laws, just anything that is a family law subject, family law topic? Is it about paternity like we discussed tonight, about custody, about judicial separation, about, surrogacy, about anything, estate planning? Just think about it. Feel free to send in that suggestion. If you want me to discuss it, I am more than happy to take it on. You can send us a message via email on latenightintercourse@gmail.com, or you may send us a question on WhatsApp 09080000633. Like I said, WhatsApp. Do I see a question? These are all answers. These are answers. Awesome. Elizabeth Alta, I see that you also responded. My apologies, Elizabeth. Oh my goodness. Okay, ask the question. Elizabeth asked, what happens after the DNA test proves that the father isn't the real father and maternity proves equivalent? Oh, okay. If my understanding of that question is, what if DNA proves that both the father and the mother are not biological parents to the child, that will be a likely crime case, if you ask me. Because if the mother is not the best mother of the child, then the only reason why DNA is happening is because she has purported, she has fronted herself, she has, impressed on people that she is the birth mother. And where she is not the best mother, there's no need making that presentation. It is justifiable, it is valid for maternity to happen by way of adoption, by way of surrogacy. It will not be a problem. So the better thing to do is to own up to the manner of the child's birth. Where a woman fronts that she has given birth to a child, and it turns out that she didn't give birth to that child, that calls for criminal investigation to confirm the circumstances of her getting about that child. So it has to be investigated to, ensure that every suspicion of crime is resolved. She has to show how she came about that child. We've heard things like, what do you call them? We've heard about things like baby factory, where people, make criminal, illegal arrangements to procure a child. So if DNA has revealed that the best, a person who is fronting that she's the best mother of a child is not the best mother of a child, it's a likely case of such a thing. Unless in the course of investigation, it is revealed that that child was legally adopted, or that, a proper case of surrogacy happened and a consensual, voluntary, system gave rise to the birth of the child. Except for that, then that woman needs to answer as to how she came about the child if DNA says that she is not. I don't know if that answers your question, Alta. Alta, does that answer your question? Oh, okay, Wanne, you want to hear about surrogacy. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. All you need to do is, okay, so I've taken note of that. I will appreciate you sending me a message by any of the channels I've mentioned. You can even send me a message inbox on Facebook here, Facebook Messenger. You can send me a message on the number that you have published on WhatsApp. You can also send me a message by email at the Zest Legal the late night intercourse at gmail.com. So I like to know, what do you want to know about surrogacy? Just ask me any question and I'll be happy to bring on a conversation on surrogacy at the next episode. If I get your question. Oh, my big sis also wants to hear about surrogacy. Then it's carried. I have 2 people asking about surrogacy. It's carried. And thank you so much, big sis, Irene Purple. Thank you so much. You're ever so supportive. You're such an angel. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. So, yeah, that seals it. We're taking on a conversation on surrogacy. And it will be my pleasure to bring that to you at the next episode. Make sure you join. And like I've announced tonight, we're no longer doing single prizes. What we'll be taking on from now will be multiple prizes. At least we varied tonight's announcement by offering consolation prizes to 2 people, Leo Smart and Graceful Akujobi. Please, every winner tonight, the 3 of you winners, kindly send in your account numbers or your phone numbers, and you'll be credited accordingly. It's been a pleasure having you all tonight. And I'm hoping that at the end of this late night intercourse with Chioma, that you'll retire to a lovely, peaceful, cozy night rest. I hope that your relationships thrive. I hope that your marriages thrive. I hope that all that pertains to you thrive and that we continue to have a beautiful time together. It is an intercourse and it will continue. Next episode, Thursday, 10 p.m. Let's make it a date. I love you. Thank you so much. Do enjoy a beautiful night rest. Good night.